So this is a real important topic we got going on lately, obviously in the world we live in right now, especially in America, USA. Media coverage, how that's interpreted, who it's presented by, what platform it's given by. All these things can vary can vary what you hear, where you hear it, and how you hear it, and what they say to you about it. Right? Two opinions can be totally different from two different places on the same thing.
Right.
Right. So with that in mind, how do you think media coverage shapes public perception during major crises, or breaking events?
I mean, it's everything. That's why the media is how it is, and it's been the giant it is now, and that's why they've been falling to things like social media, because now we're able to report the truth faster than potentially they can make up any type of lie or any type of bias. But as you see, like we can see it now, like the media is split to a point where you will have right leaning media or you will have left leaning media.
Right. So what they call that, right? They call that echo chamber, right?
Yeah, I
So if
guess.
you only click in, the way that social media works nowadays is actually kind of fucked, to be honest. Because if you only, tap into, say the Democratic side of things or the Republican side of things, that's generally going to be the kind of content that you see, right? So you're not going to see the other end of the spectrum most chances unless you go actively looking for it, which most people just don't. So that's what they get, that echo of, you hear the same thing getting bounced back to you that you're spitting out, and you just think your shit smells, sweet, basically. And
Well,
you might be right, you might be wrong.
well, that's why I believe I listen to both. I try to hear both.
Good
It's
point.
because they make good points in both. Like that's why I went independent, is because I'm just like, it's just too much back and forth of ridiculousness, and like no one has a solid plan, and no one's had for years. So just backing out until I
Well,
hear something
I feel
perfect.
like they actually have had a plan for years. They've been doing what they've been doing for years. This is why
Mhm.
we are where we are. At this point,
We do not get
I
here by
wonder
accident.
whether or not they are leaning into either side with the point of being that side. Because I think that at some point they're going to have to bail on it, because there is the social media aspect. There is the find whatever news you want.
True.
So at what point are they going to just not be able to do that anymore because they're leaning into their own trope?
Well, because there's a demographic,
And they know now.
but there's a demographic who don't use social media anymore, and that's usually our elders. So they still have all of their attention, and
I like to call that the
potentially,
uneducated viewer.
Yeah. I mean, true.
It's getting less and less.
It's getting less and less. I mean, like I said, you listen to Fox, it's hilarious because they're so like, oh, they suck, and then you hear Democrats, and it's so like, oh, they're losing so bad, and it's just like, it's just ridiculous because it's just as crazy as how Iran, I guess, feel how they feel about the war, like they're winning or whatever, or how we feel. It's just wild. Everything.
Does it not make you just wonder what the fucking news is?
Yes, it's all
Makes
of
you
it.
wonder what you're looking at. And
What is
sprinkled
even
on,
happening?
Sprinkled on top of that, what do we got? We got AI fake videos and
Oh
shit
my
on top
God.
of it too,
AI
right?
is crazy.
Imagine trying to convince, just trying to convince your grandma or whoever that what you just showed them a real video on social media. Like, I've had my grandparents look at, a video game and be like, "Oh, who's playing today?" Like, this is a video game. You know what I'm saying? This is not even a real game. Let alone an AI crafted video, right? Let alone an AI crafted video that is built to confuse you.
I think the best ones I've seen is where a guy goes up to a guy and be like, "Hey man, is this you?" Like, and then he shows him doing something real gay with somebody. And he's like, "Yo, what the fuck?" And he's like, "Yeah, man. Like, this dude said he was just talking with you." And he's like, "Yeah,
that's real shit though.
Yeah,
That's real shit that's going on.
They be like, "Yo, what the fuck is happening?" Like, they're
Not so
tripping
much
out.
for the average person, but it's real shit going on. Like, as far as like how the more seedier parts of the internet, like you got shit like
Deep
Grok
fakes.
and other shit like that, where you can generate basically images of anything and anybody doing any fucking thing.
Sure.
And what you use that for and what you do with it is now totally in the air right now. So that's why they're all doing. They're having to deal with that. On the higher ends of the government right now.
I mean, you have to.
Congress. And
I assume
else.
they know how to deal with the metadata, though. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm sure that's 90%
right. But who's checking the metadata? I mean, the average
if
viewer
you're
isn't doing that.
Well, average viewer, no. But if you're
that's who's consuming the content, though.
True.
You're only going to check all that stuff when you get the higher ups here saying, okay, who did what and who didn't do what. When it's serious, when somebody's getting sued or somebody's in court over this shit. That's when they're going to start checking metadata and seeing what's really real and what's really not. But
True.
The average person, the average environment that you're going to be in, the average viewer, especially on social media, you're just going to see whatever you see, and if you believe it, you believe it. If you don't, you don't. But I'm sure that most of these people are just shooting for the numbers.
Yeah, just what
They're
happened
assuming
to
they get half these people to believe them.
And I think that's the bottom of it is become all about numbers and not about
the integrity.
what you're putting out anymore.
What happened
because
to the journalistic integrity? You know what I mean?
Or even just creative ownership. Wanting to be something unique. It has nothing to do about it. It's about numbers.
Numbers, always about the numbers.
That's literally all it
Why
is.
make something cool when you could replicate something and make so much more money
And pay so much more less.
and
It'd be-
fake it
So much less work.
and just do what someone else did? It just has. It's kind of sad, honestly. But
It's fucked everything up.
anyway,
All right, so so piggybacking off of that, then when
Segue.
something crazy happens in the world, how do you decide whether it's actually real or if it's just overblown nonsense?
You can't. You got to listen to both sides, and there's 3 sides to every story. And we unfortunately only get 1.5 because we're American.
But how do you do that though? So if I show you a story right now, how are you gonna make sure? Oh, he's bullshitting. That's not real.
I mean,
How do you know?
unfortunately, you got to cross-reference it with everything else. It's
Exactly,
like they tell
right.
you to do everything in the world.
So where you cross referencing that though? What sources you using?
More bullshit news.
Please like and subscribe.